friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. Spring training is underway. The Phillies will have their first Grapefruit League game against the Blue Jays on Saturday. Whit Merrifield is signed to a one-year deal. What can the veteran utility man bring to the squad? The Flyers dropped the Stadium Series, losing 6-3 against the Devils at MetLife Stadium. They bounced back, however, with a 3-1 win over the Blackhawks on Wednesday. With the Flyers holding on to third in the Metro, could they stand pat at the deadline? Could Sean Walker remain with the team past this season? The Eagles re-signed tight end Albert Okwuegbunam. Jason Kelsey's retirement decision remains in the air. Is Dom DeSandro the Birds' official sideline therapist? The Eagles fall to the Knicks in their return from the All-Star break. Or did I say the Eagles?
Yeah.
The Sixers.
You gotta do that again.
No, we're powering through. The Sixers, our 76ers, fall to the Knicks in their return from the All-Star break. Nick Batum and Tobias Harris return to the lineup. Kyle Lowry looks decent in his Sixers debut. With the team continuing to struggle without Embiid, can they stay out of the play-in? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Another day, another pod. The big 5-0.
50, baby.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. It's exciting. A little wet, dreary day here in Philadelphia, but the Sixers kind of added to that as well.
Sixers also wet and dreary.
But yeah, can't complain. Feel like my body's just starting to get right. We had a great weekend all together for Lewis's bachelor party, so I feel like my brain and body are starting to be more aligned, which is good after a great weekend of indulging in good times. But yeah, can't complain. Happy to be back.
Yeah, shout out to the Big 5-0. We made it to 50 episodes. Next week will be 1 year since we recorded the first episode.
Yeah.
We have skipped a week, but for the most part, we've been bringing y'all, the audience, our listening audience, our viewing audience, that riveting content for a year straight. So
consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you all appreciate that.
More to come.
Also, shout out Lewis.
Yeah, man.
I think we mentioned this last week, but shout out Lewis, Vamo Coffee, getting married to Hannah Galdeep, former guest of the pod, up in Erie, PA in April, and we had a good time celebrating. What was y'all's favorite part of the trip? I use that literally and figuratively.
I did like that Irish pub. I was having a good time. I was having a good time there, and you guys pulled me away.
You were barking up the wrong tree.
Oh yeah, a good old sturdy tree, but a tree nonetheless.
There were some younger trees in the bar that you guys didn't. Whatever.
Hey.
Look.
Yeah, that Irish pub was kind of fun.
It was a good time.
It was
cheap we ordered like a bunch of Guinness, and it was
8 Guinness was only $45, $40.
Yeah,
it was really
pretty
cheap.
great
yeah,
deal,
$5
honestly.
a Guinness. That's
And they
banging.
whacked them out pretty quickly too.
In this economy
they
too,
poured
man.
them quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the bar felt good because we were all tripping or what, but it was a good vibe in there. I just liked walking around the boardwalk a little bit, tripping or drinking, whatever. Like, that was a good time. But just being with everybody was also great. You know what I mean? It's just fun hanging out, bullshitting, whether doing nothing or chilling or going to see Cat. I think Cat Williams is probably my favorite part. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
The highlight. Yeah. That was a fun show.
Yeah, I will say that he had a ton of openers.
Yeah, there's like 8
It
of
was
them
long. I would have peed way earlier because I feel like every time I thought, I was like, oh, I got a window. They were like, and now what you've all been waiting for. I'm like, all right, here we go. And it was like some like local Jersey comedian. I'm like, all right, it's fine. But like, all right, he's on next.
Yeah.
And then it was like 4 later. I'm like, oh my God. Like my bladder was exploding.
Yeah, it was a straight party in there.
But yeah, I mean, every opener was solid. The one girl that was singing, I was a little confused by.
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
But she had a good voice, right? Like, it was just weird.
Yeah, it was just kind of a little out of place.
She would sing and then
whatever.
like do a little bit. And I'd be like, oh, she's like, okay, the singing was like an intro. But then she started singing again. I'm like, all right, well, I don't really know where I'm at here. But 14,000 fans packed that fucking little ice rink out, though, for Cat Williams, which is great.
Oh, you felt the 14,000 leaving out that thing,
Oh,
man?
man.
Yeah.
Good Lord, we were bottlenecked in there hard, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
was
thought I was never going to leave.
a tough place to get out of.
it was hot.
Not a place where you'd want to catch on fire.
Oh, God,
No.
we would all burn down.
Or be
there.
tripping like we were the night before. That'd have been brutal.
Yeah,
That'd been brutal.
yeah, that would have been rough. But then we went to, I think this was my favorite part of the trip, King's Pub,
Yeah.
dude.
Shout out King's
Yeah,
Pub.
yeah. That was,
King's
that was
Pub,
a
man.
good
What a
place.
cool bar.
Shout out that bartender. Don't know his name, but saw 8 or 9 of us walk in there a little bit fucked up looking. All ordered food, all ordered beers. The guy was so cheery the whole time. Never batted an eye. Just was like, all right, yeah, say no more. Apologized for being a little bit late because we had too much fried stuff we ordered. He was like, my bad. We're like, no big deal, dude. He's like, we only got 1 fryer. Dude killed it. It was a great little local kind of towny bar right across from
the Irish pub.
Yeah.
That was great. But what I will say, man, is the last time I'd been to Atlantic City was, as I mentioned last week, was 12 years ago. When you're in your early 20s, you may understand what sadness and depravity is.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, being back in Atlantic City now that I'm in my mid-30s, I've really felt sadness and depravity in my own life. I'm like, man, this place there's just the epitome of despair, right? Like, it's such a rundown. It's not the land
of broken dreams. That shit, your dreams are already shattered before you get there.
It was funny leaving the Cat Williams show and just seeing everyone just pouring into Caesars. It was like across the street. It's like, damn, these guys didn't spend enough money on the tickets and the beers or whatever.
Yeah, and then just like so many just like closed down restaurants. And granted, it's the boardwalk in the winter, so some of them probably do open this summer. Yeah. But some of them, they look like they hadn't been open in years.
Some look boarded up. Yeah. Not just closed. They look boarded up for forever.
And then that seedy motel right down the street from our Airbnb where Steve, shout out Steve, DFOP, was saying that he walked by and he saw 3 different drug deals going down in that motel at once. In the morning. Like 12 o'clock noon.
Yeah.
So Atlantic City had a great time.
It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
You see, it serves a purpose. You know what I mean? You go down, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and everyone's looking a little fucked up, so you can kind of just blend in with the mass.
Yeah, it was fun walking through the Hard Rock Casino. Just pretty much just went in there to use the bathroom, but got to see a lot of fun lights and colors and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people sitting around losing money.
Yeah, Ficaz won $7.
Yeah, Ficaz did come out ahead, $7.
Went down big and then came back up.
Yeah, the whole time I was leading up to it, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to play some kind of table games. And as soon as I got in there, I was like, nah. Right.
So. Nah. I was scared to even play a slot.
I don't think the acid was helping. Everyone
was like intimidating, and I don't think so.
Hey, that's okay. Then we went out and drank beers on the frigid beach and looked at the Ferris wheel for a half hour.
Yeah, that was
Ferris wheel was nice.
It was a cool Ferris wheel.
Yeah, she was looking sturdy.
Like I've seen so I would rate that Ferris wheel on the scale of Ferris wheel ratings. I'd give it a solid 8. It was nice and bright and colorful. Because I've seen some Ferris wheels that are kind of mediocre. I've seen some that are pretty good, but only under certain conditions. Like the one I took in the snow that day, remember? Yeah. That one was cool. That one was like a 9 out of 10. This one was like, I give it an 8.
For AC, all the lights were working.
Yeah.
Had some good upkeep to it. But yeah, man, all around, I think phenomenal weekend. It did what the job was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Everybody get banged up, have a good time, come home safe. And we did it.
Hey, the boys were bucking town, dude.
The boys were bucking town. But yeah, Ficaz going down big, coming up with a little win. Unlike the Sixers.
No.
They went down big, just like Ficaz. Just when you thought they could maybe get their $7 back, that was it. No more gas in the tank.
Yeah, first game back after the All-Star break. It was good to see Kyle Lowry suit up. It was good to see, Batum and Tobias were back, but it wasn't good to see him back if that's how they're going to play, you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
But it's good, I guess, that the team is starting to get healthy. They were saying on the broadcast that Melton should be back tomorrow. Covington's probably a couple weeks out from being back. Then it's just when Embiid can come back.
Forgot he was on the team, to be honest.
I thought his career was over.
Yeah.
To be quite frank.
Covington.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like did not sound good, the injury they were talking about. He has been out for a while, so.
Signs of hope. I mean, at least we can go right in the Sixers, I guess. They're the freshest on mine. I feel like it wasn't. Yeah, it sucked to see them lose right at you're at home. You got Lowry's back. He goes out in the first half with a weird elbow to the forehead, I guess. You know what I mean? But at least they had that fight. I mean, down 26, you come back at the half. They put a really good dent into that deficit, which is good to see.
They got within 6 at one time.
I mean, they were right there. I mean, that's your max effort there, and The Knicks just had their number tonight. I mean, their first half was almost perfect from three and everybody hitting their free throws. I mean, it was a great Knicks offensive standpoint, and their defense was nuts. You saw that Nova connection right off the jump.
Right.
So I think all in all, you get some other pieces back. Maybe you get some players that gel together more. Larry gets a couple more weeks together with the team. You got a tough stretch. I think they got the 8th toughest schedule coming down the stretch here, without Embiid as well. So this is a game that, again, and they hate to be a broken record, but like with Embiid, they probably win this game. I mean, you come back within 6, you miss that big crucial piece right there.
Yeah.
Their defense is just pitiful without Embiid in the first half of games. There's no one getting rebounds, no one good doing blocks. They're all pretty much caught just watching people shoot ball and watching it get bounced back and bang, the team gets the other rebound. So, I mean, it was a frustrating game, but I'm not going to get too wound up in the fact that they lost. The Knicks are a good team. I mean, they're hungry, they're energetic.
They're banged up too, but not as banged up as we are.
Nah, but they have that. They got some fight in them. Brunson's clearly running that team pretty well. So, and like you said, you bring some Nova guys in there that all have that similar connection. There were a couple plays where you could see it was like vintage Nova shit right there.
Yeah. When DiVincenzo had that cut towards the end of the game, with like 3 seconds on the shot clock, he sets a pick and then just cuts to the basket. It's that's what you get when you play at Villanova for 4 years, or however long you played there.
Together.
When you play for Jay Wright, you've been playing fundamental basketball for that long. It's just that comes naturally to you. Whereas for some of the Sixers players, like they set a pick and then they just stand there.
Ain't nobody making a move.
KJ Martin, Kelly Oubre set a pick and they just stand there.
Yeah.
Just like, so would be nice for us to get the Nova guy. As I was saying before we record the pod, I think we do get ours in the off season. Mikal Bridges, I think, is coming home. Yeah. It's going to undo the wrongs of the 2018, 2019 draft, but that's for a different pod. But
another day.
Yeah, as far as Sixers go, Maxey, he went off. He represented the Sixers decently in the All-Star game, as much as Doc would play him anyway.
Classic Doc move. He got hot, and then he said, all right, you're done. So we've seen that before.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the All-Star game?
Yeah, I did. Here's why, right? It was a really bad game, but the total for points going into the game was really low. Like, I think I betted it was like, I don't remember what it was. It was like under 360. The line was 360 and a half was the over-under for total points, and I'm thinking that's going to go way over. Like, or it might, it was 380. It was something that it seemed like it might have been reasonable. I was like, yeah, that's going to go over.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I have to bet that. So like once I did it, was my incentive to watch the game.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to watch.
But it was a really bad basketball game.
Yeah.
If you even want to call it a basketball game.
I did not watch it. I remember I watched last year's, and I imagine it was more of the same. Not a whole lot of fundamental defense being played in the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's just, why even have it?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
They should just treat it like, they should kind of treat it like the NFL does the Pro Bowl. Just have the Saturday night, which we didn't watch Saturday night. We were at Cat Williams, but my understanding was that the dunk contest sucked. The 3-point contest was all right, and the Steph and Sabrina shootout was the
it sounded like that was the highlight of it.
Was the highlight, and like the skills competition was okay. But just have more stuff like that.
Yeah,
just make that All-Star Weekend. No one gives a damn about this terrible game.
Yeah, or I feel like they could maybe do something like what the NHL does now, where it's, you could have, 4 teams or however many you want to do, and just make it, almost like a street ball tournament.
Like 3-on-3 or
3-on-3, something like that. Yeah. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But trying to do a regular game just seems kind of pointless.
Yeah, 3-on-3 half court would be cool.
Yeah.
Because you can't get really lazy like that in half court. You actually have to play with intensity a little bit.
Yeah.
Like full court, they're going to be lazy because they don't feel like running 94 feet back and forth. Half court, you kind of force the players to move a little bit more.
Yeah. But, All-Star games in general have just been kind of a wash.
Yeah, they're all
past
pretty
couple
bad.
years anyway, but,
Yeah. I mean, here's the other thing that I think they could do for the All-Star game is, how, whenever a team has like a star point guard and they're talking about maybe trying to acquire another star ball handler type of guy, and all the, boomer NBA fans will say, what are they going to do? Play with 2 balls? That's exactly what they should do. 2 balls, just chaos. Can't, think about what the total would be for that game.
That'd be entertaining.
That'd be tricky when you're transitioning defense and someone's like, how do you know
who do
which
you
ball's
cover?
going
Which ball
which
do
way?
you cover?
Yeah. Do both balls have to be in play on each,
Yeah, could one team be on offense while the other one is also on offense?
Then you could just do 2 half.
I don't know.
half,
There's so many
half
questions.
Court. Yeah, I don't know. They gotta test
of
that
ins
one
and
out real
outs.
quick in the G League real quick. See how that works
It
out.
wouldn't be any worse than what we're watching now.
Nah,
So.
they're just asking for an injury though. At that point, without some sort of structure, you got guys just crisscross.
Yeah, people are going to run
Or they
into
could just
each
kind
other.
of have random moments in the game where they introduce the second ball. It's like they just, like a red light and a siren goes, and it's like 2 minutes of 2 balls.
It's like the
You know?
Quidditch. That ball's worth like 10 times the points.
Yeah, they throw in like the golden ball, like kind of like how they do with the 3-point contest.
But it's a tennis ball.
Yeah, there's just like a weird shaped ball.
Oh, you know what
It's
it
a
is?
rugby ball.
You know what it is? It's the airless ball.
Yeah, the airless ball. They throw that pitch in there. The gold airless
Or they
ball.
should do if you go to some kind of state fair and they have those basketball things, and they obviously like fuck up the rims and make it so hard. They should just do that. They should just make the rim square
so that no one can score.
so that,
Hell yeah.
just,
Hey, you wanted a low-scoring game? You got it.
yeah.
Maybe they add 2 feet to the fucking rim too.
Yeah,
make it a little bit higher.
Let the rim play the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Humans
Players
versus-
not
Or
going to
make
play.
the
Robots.
basket 15 feet high.
Bring out those robots from Japan.
No
Let that shit
dunks.
see what they do.
Hmm.
Damn. But yeah, Maxey, good to see him coming out fresh. Looks like he didn't miss a single beat. So good seeing him, that young youthfulness coming out there on the court. So put up 30, damn near 40 points tonight. But the rest of the team just has to get their shit together. I do feel positive, though, with Kyle Lowry on the team. They did seem to not miss Maxey as much when he wasn't on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good to see. You get that familiarity with Nick Nurse and Lowry. I'm sure he knows at least a majority of the playbook or the scheme that he's running, so it's not as foreign to him. But they just need some weeks together to really get that continuity going to gel as a team, because there's some things that look sloppy, but that one pass where Lowry's about to go to the rack and then ditches it out to Buddy Hield, like that was great. That was last year I mentioned it before the pod where like anytime Harden would do that shit in the first year or so we had him, that was going right to the fucking ref. Like he knew what he wanted to do but couldn't get the pass there, where like Lowry already had that shit, but he was sitting there and poof, popped it, like, so that was good. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The Knicks are a good team. Potential playoff matchup down the stretch. Harris, Payne, those guys are a whole ass liability if they keep playing like this. I mean, even with Embiid back, you got to get something out of them. They weren't playing defense. They couldn't fucking shoot the rock. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Harris just is so just seems so weak on the ball. Like he gave it up. I don't know how many times.
I never saw him turn the ball over like that. Like, granted, he usually takes stupid shots or like he'll miss something or get blocked, but like he was just fumbling the ball left and right. They would pass him it and he would bounce it off his foot, or I don't know what. You can blame it on Russ, but this ain't his first All-Star break. Like when people say that, they had 2 weeks off. I don't believe that bullshit. Like they're professional athletes. They're not rookies. Like
Plus, we'll see this from Tobias, a random game in December when he's played the last 8 games.
Right. So that shit was a little disheartening to see, but, it's the Sixers. Down by 26, they suck you in the third quarter, and then they break your heart again at the end, so kind of numb to it.
Yep, that's how they do. Their schedule doesn't get any easier. They got Cleveland tomorrow, back-to-back. Then they play Milwaukee at 1 o'clock on Sunday. They play 3 games in, not even 96 hours. They play 3 games in, 80 hours.
Well, if they lose
Who
them
the
all,
hell wrote that schedule?
If they lose them all, then Nick Nurse can just pull a Doc Rivers and say, well, whoever made this schedule just doesn't know time zones or doesn't know how to travel with their team, and that's why we lost, not because of our players, because of the way that they made the script didn't work out that way.
Guess we can get into Doc Rivers. I got to get into this. Leave it to the NBA, man. As I've said on this pod many times, the NBA is the most dramatic of the professional sports league. Leave it to the NBA to have all this drama pop off during the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Where you have Doc saying straight up on someone's podcast, I forget whose podcast this was, Doc's a guest, and he's like, yeah, I told the Milwaukee, front office and, the owner that you probably shouldn't hire me in the middle of like this really tough stretch, this really tough road trip. It's like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. And then like saying like, yeah, these losses are because of the schedule, because time zones, because you can't take over the team in the middle of the season. I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. Doc's just making up all this nonsense, dude.
Because they're ass right now.
Yeah.
You know, I've only had it like 24 hours or 36 hours in Milwaukee itself, so I don't even really know anything right now. It's like, shut the man, you've been playing these crazy ass fucking puppet games all season. Now that you got the reins and they're losing, you're like, whoa, it's
you've been advising the team the whole time, dude. Get the hell up out of here. So then, this is where it got really funny. So JJ Redick, former Sixer, former Clipper, played under Doc with the Clippers, comes out on, I guess it was First Take. It was with Skip and Shannon, or I'm sorry, with Stephen A. and Shannon. So he comes out and he's pissed. He goes, I've seen the trend for years. The trend is always making excuses. This is from CBS Sports. Said Redick, who played under Rivers for years when they were both with the Clippers. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. Just like getting traded in the middle of a season is hard for a player. We get it. But it's always excuses. It's always throwing your team under the bus. Article goes on to say Redick took issue with the Bucks losing to Memphis, blah, 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 blah. Doc saying, after that loss, we had some guys here, we had some guys in Cabo.
Yeah.
Questioning his player's effort. So here's JJ. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his player's fault. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. So then Redick ends his rant by calling Rivers out for comments saying, he said the Clippers consulted him. I didn't know this happened. Doc claims the Clippers consulted him before making the trade for James Harden. Then this is JJ again. Then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that? There's never accountability with that guy.
Yeah. He's a fucking noodle.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, Doc's always just on some nonsense, dude. So it gets even better. The NBA, man, they know how to do drama. So then Pat Bev...
Everyone's got a podcast now, so...
Pat Bev, who we know, who we love, takes to Twitter and goes after JJ. Let me pull this up. So Pat Bev goes on Twitter like that day. This man, Doc, actually saved your career. Started you when no one else wanted to. And you retire, go on TV and say that. At JJ Redick. So then JJ tweets back at him. This shit's so funny, man. Pat, my guy, I had a 4-year offer with a player option for the same money to be a starter for a different team. Fuck out of here. Quote unquote, save my career. Then Pat Bev claps back. Why didn't you take it then? You was comfy in your role with the team. And don't just say LA. I'm assuming because you wanted to go to LA. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Doc Rivers, man, just starts this whole just fire.
He's a big stir of the pot guy. He's a big stir of the pot guy.
Yeah, I just thought that whole thing was so funny. Like, the NBA's on break.
Yeah.
And you have a current coach, an ex-player turned commentator, and a current player just all bickering with one another. It's like in no other league does that happen.
No.
The NBA loves drama.
Meanwhile, it's hard to imagine something like that happening in like the MLB or something.
Oh God,
like,
they couldn't care less.
Yeah, like it was like Pedro Martinez talking shit on I don't know,
Don Zimmer.
Yeah, that would be pretty great.
That whole chapter was funny, but then Pat Bev, he had a busy week. You seen what he said about the Sixers?
Oh yeah.
They care about stats more than they
tried
care
to
about
like
winning.
walk it back.
Yeah.
So hold up. He said Tobias Harris called him and asked him what it's like in Milwaukee. You think that actually happened?
Probably. I bet you
Maybe.
Tobias was trying to find his way to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, it just has like a friendly. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know the context of like, hey, how's Milwaukee? You know, or it's like, how is it in Milwaukee compared to playing here?
That's
like
true.
He didn't say if it was
like,
how's
what's the weather like?
How's living in Milwaukee compared to living in Philly?
It's like if one of your friends moved to a new city, you might just give him a friendly call.
Or is he asking because he wants to? Yeah, there's no context there. But also, fuck, like, Tobias, hell yeah, go, baby.
Yeah,
Get
Tobias,
out.
that'd
You
be
got
cool.
I'll
it.
drive you to the airport right
Yeah.
now, dude.
Yeah,
Drive
man.
you all the way to Milwaukee.
But then for Pat Bev to be like, yeah, everyone cares about winning here. No one cares about stats. Who won the Sixers other than when Embiid had the 30-10 streak? Who has ever cared about stats on the current Sixers team?
Nobody.
Yeah.
But also cares about winning more. Like, have you seen the Bucks record though? Since, like, they're not. They've been winning games, but they haven't been doing shit for the last really 2 months.
Yo,
So, like, you're just as bad as we are right now.
and all I'm going to say is, like, you have Dame in the All-Star game just chucking threes trying to win MVP. You have Giannis when he didn't get his game ball.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Being a little
Freaking
bitch.
out.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me they just care about winning? They don't care about stats? Clearly, I mean, it's okay to care about stats. If I was an NBA player, I'd care about stats. When I used to play rec league and stuff, I cared how many points I got.
At the end of the day,
But, like-
whenever you play anything like that, you do care about stats at some point, especially when you're at the top of your career. You want to be the guy. You want to be the face of the NBA. You want to be the leader in scoring or whatever it is, defensive player of the year. So, like, yeah, it is always on people's back of their mind. And, yeah, last year, where we were chasing that shit with Embiid, probably. This year, I actually felt that Embiid wasn't chasing MVP. I thought that he was actually trying to just get us to be in a position to go for a chip run. And he happened to get hurt, which is classic Embiid. But, like, I didn't feel the same urge that he was fighting for MVP as previous years. But when you're playing that well, you're always going to be in the conversation
right.
of MVP. And when you're doing 30, the only time that I guess he did chase it was when they tried to keep in
The
that streak
30-10
alive.
streak,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that, okay,
Last time we lost it.
I'll give you that. That makes sense. But, like, come on now. But I don't think Pat would be running around the team like that if they're saying that he would love to stay in Philly forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, he's got a podcast. He's
Exactly.
just gonna stir shit. I mean, I'm kind of like over the Pat Bev thing. Like, it was
I just
cool.
think it's hilarious.
It was cool when he was here. Fun personality, but it's like at this point he's just a mediocre player that plays for the Bucks. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
I'm not gonna like.
You're not wrong, but I still
I'm not
care
gonna.
about
I'm not
Pat
gonna like
Bev.
pretend like it's breaking news every time Pat
Yeah.
Bev says some shit on his podcast.
Dude,
it's
I
like
just think
whatever.
I just think
The
it's
stats
funny.
that
It
It's
is
really
funny.
funny.
It is
the
funny.
stats that he ain't chasing, he really should be getting a little bit, like, he hasn't looked at his stats in a while because he really hasn't done anything really statistically or winning wise recently.
Yeah, winning. He's certainly not winning
He's
in
not a
Milwaukee.
winner,
He was
and he's-
winning more games here, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his stats, I mean, yeah, Pat, he's an okay, great, locker room guy, great energy guy, but he ain't going to win you any games.
He helped the Sixers win a couple, not by himself, but
Yeah, against, like, Charlotte, but not, come on now. He's not, I love Pat Bev. I'm not saying that at all that way. I just mean, like, that's all. If you're going to call out someone for trying to stat pad and shit like that, or compared to winning, you haven't, that's all I'm saying.
yeah.
You're not like the guy. You're just Pat Bev, which everyone loves you for. They
Yeah.
love you because you're just, a great guy to be around.
Yeah, he's authentic.
Yeah.
The last thing he said was he was talking about Kyle Lowry, because Kyle Lowry is basically the reason he got traded, right? Because we wanted to bring Lowry instead of him, which I think Lowry showed a little juice tonight. Probably,
Definitely.
He showed some things in this game that you weren't going to get from Pat Bev. So, jury's still out on if it ends up being a net positive, but Pat Bev's mad that Kyle Lowry basically forced him out. He was like, yeah, when we play Philly, I'm on his ass.
Yeah, and we'll
You
see
know
how
what?
we'll see what happens.
They play him on Sunday.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to watch that game. I might
See how many
Might
minutes
try
he
and go.
gets.
we'll see what happens. I mean, I bet you Kyle Lowry gets more points than he does. I don't think Pat Bev might have like a steal here and there, maybe a block, but I think Kyle Lowry wins that matchup.
Yeah,
It ain't their first time seeing each other.
yeah. Kyle Lowry's a borderline Hall of Fame player. Like, with all due respect to Pat Bev, he's had a long career. I love him, but he's not as his career isn't as accomplished. Right now, he may be better, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's all I got to say about Pat Bev. I respect the hustle for content. He's out here just probably fabricating stories and talking shit for his podcast.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Hey,
I just,
Who isn't?
Do what
Yeah.
you got to do. We don't
gotta respect
fabricate
the hustle.
stories.
No. I'm not
No.
saying not us. I'm not
Oh.
saying just in general.
Yeah, I was
People.
gonna say we tell it real from the heart.
I'm just
man.
saying just people in general with pods.
Very true. But all right, I think that's all I got on the Sixers on the NBA
Yeah.
at large.
yeah. What do you want to move to now?
Well, I could do a quick shout out real quick for the Union.
Yeah, shout out to the Union.
They just won their first game of their CONCACAF.
It's true.
They
against
just won
Costa Rica.
They won 3-2 against this team,
Deportivo
Saprissa versus the Philadelphia Union. The Union won 3-2, full-time match. That was the first round of Leg 1. So good to see them back with their new uniforms, coming out hot. So
those tire track uniforms.
Hey, but it's all right. We'll see what they do. But yeah, shout out to Union right now for starting off at least somewhat hot with a win. I'll take that.
Yeah, the home opener Saturday.
Yeah.
Supposed to be 37 degrees is the high, 23 is the low.
Cold.
Jesus.
Cold game for a soccer match, but
right next to the river there too.
Oh, a little breezy. But I said they get it done. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the Union now.
I forgot about that. Shout out to the Union. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Birds so Pat can do his Super Bowl shots.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do my Super Bowl shots. I got to do 2 shots because obviously they didn't.
Thanks to our girl, Taylor Swift.
Obviously, she made
That's your girl.
Made it in plenty of time.
That private-ass jet, flew in there, did her concert, came back. But I'll also do this shot real quick in honor of my neighbor Joe as well.
I'll do one with you.
Rest in peace, Joe Laporta.
Shout out Joe.
Yeah, shout out Joe.
But
some little bits of some little Eagles news, little Eagles drama going on. They re-signed Albert Ekwegbenam for some reason.
Which is like why?
I don't know why they never played him.
Could be some Denver hangover from if Vic Fangio was there when he was there. He could see some. Maybe there's what I mean. He had some kind of connection with that buy-in that way. We don't really have a lot. It could be a sign of a goodbye for
what do you call it?
Cal Contrera or whoever else.
Jack Stoll, I think, is a restricted. Jack Stoll's a restricted free agent.
Yeah,
so you know what? That's a good point.
Could be
I didn't even think of that.
So it's not like they make. This is a classic Howie off season where he's going to be doing some shit in the background that you might not think is that big a deal. Not that this is a big deal at all either, but little shit like that. You trim the fat. You keep a guy that's been here for a year at least a little bit, a bigger man with a little bit of upside. Nothing crazy. Goddard's still your man. Depends on how, Kellen Moore wants to run that offense. You do a 2 tight end set, whatnot. But
I think he does like a 2 tight end set a little bit more than they have.
When they had what's it called? Who the fuck they got the German last name, and then Ferguson. They had a blocker and then a passing tight end. So we'll see what's up. But yeah, speaking about dramatic leagues, I don't think that there's any other team with more offseason drama the last 3 years than the Philadelphia Eagles. They
the NFL,
love that shit, man. Oh my god. Yeah. Now Nick Sirianni's a fucking unhinged man on the sideline without Dom on the sideline. Come on, what is this?
Well, that came from Derek Gunn, who Derek Gunn knows this team probably better than some people on the team know the team.
Also got let go, though, as the Eagles insider a year before.
No, I believe almost anything Derek Gunn says.
You can't be blind loyalty with that shit. I do love Derek Gunn, don't get me wrong.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, there is a report from Derek Gunn saying that, during the season, Dom DeSandro pretty much took it upon himself to calm Nick down on the sidelines and make sure that his could keep his emotions in check. And this is apparently why, when Dom was suspended, you started to see Sirianni kind of get into arguments with players on the sidelines. There was, that one kind of blow up with, I don't know. I feel like AJ Brown was involved in one of those.
The one with it I can think of was
Reddick.
Hassan Reddick, the Giants game towards the end of the game when they kept having Reddick drop. You see Reddick screaming at the sideline, I guess he was saying I don't want to drop or whatever. Or
this ain't his job.
Then Reddick just started freelancing doing his thing. Then he comes over the sideline. Nick's yelling at him. Devontae's trying to get involved. Nick's telling Devontae to go away. We saw it without Big Dom. Whereas you didn't really. It's difficult to say that it's just because Big Dom wasn't there, because that was when they were losing a bunch of games, and some of that was probably frustration boiling over, which could have happened if he was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, we were kind of joking about how when things started going bad was coincidentally when he went out, but it's maybe there's actually something to this. I don't know.
I think that that's a bigger picture, I think obviously, we can look at some things and be like, wow, like we know Nick Sirianni can be unhinged on the sidelines with or without Big Dom. I mean, even the KC game, we had Big Dom there. He's walking out. I don't hear you fucking that. Like, okay, shit like that. We don't,
Even think back to last year, the game against the Colts with Frank Reich.
Yeah.
That was for Frank Reich.
And it's like when you're winning, you love that. Right.
Yeah, well,
so it's like it almost seems like unfair that now that they've lost some games, now it's like, oh, this is now a big problem,
I don't know if it's when you're winning you love it. It's when you're winning you just kind of let it go under the rug.
Yeah,
and I feel like this team last year let a lot of things slide. And if you want to have it slide into last year too, like, well, it's just Nick Sirianni like vibing into the identity of the city, that's something for the fans to take part in. You can appreciate the fans' passion, but like, and this is what I've been saying all year, before the season was over, that like it's a lack of maturity. And I think that having Big Dom or no Big Dom, okay, fine. If we got Big Dom on the sideline, cool. He keeps him tempered. But he's not the first coach that's had a guy that kept him in check. I mean, you go back to Bill Cowher. That guy was a very passionate head coach as well. Any of the hardballs have been very passionate. Like, he's not the first one to explode at players and yell at guys and get more out of them in a way that way. I think that when the team also has a coach that is a little bit unhinged and not, mature on the sidelines, and then you have players that are frustrated with their own coordinators that don't know what they're doing with their own scheme, where A.J. Brown isn't getting the ball in the second half of the season. He had 1,000 yards by 8 weeks. That's unheard, wild for the Eagles at least to have. You got defensive players that you're asking our best rusher to drop back in coverage with who's my coordinator? Is it Desai? Is it Matt Patricia? Is it the fucking ball boy over here? Like, who's my coach today? So, yeah, it was just a lot of things, I think, snowballed that nobody could have corrected that. Even if Nick Sirianni was like a stoic coach at the end of the season, I don't think that anybody could have righted that wrong. So, yeah, I think this is just classic Philadelphia media trying to fucking poke some holes in some shit that they don't need to do to stir the pot. And, we'll see if they can stay strong. But they kept Sirianni. He's our coach. If you're a true, like, Philadelphia media guy that doesn't want to just have clickbait out there, you want him to succeed. If you want them to fucking come out here next season, be together, and win some games and actually make a run of the playoffs, don't be trying to poke holes in this shit with some bullshit excuse about, well, he's yelling at everybody, he's unhinged, he needs Dom. Like, he ain't a baby. He's a grown-ass man, too. Just like Jalen Hurts doesn't need fucking Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni he shouldn't rely on Big Dom to keep him in check to play a fucking game.
But there was that point after the season where Sirianni did say, like, I need to do a better job of keeping my emotions in check.
Yeah, but that's ownership.
I think that might have been what he was referring to.
Ownership is okay, though. That's okay to have ownership of that. It's okay to understand, okay, fine, Matt.
So now, you're not denying that it happened?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, like, his explosiveness wasn't the reason for the Eagles' downfall. It was a bunch of other things.
I think if anything is explosive, it might have been a result of their downfall, more so than it was a cause or a reason for it.
It's frustrating. And again, to that point, you're dealing with the Philadelphia media that every day between Sundays, you're hearing Nick Sirianni can't do the job. He's unhinged. The players don't like playing for him. The players are upset. The fans don't like him. Like, it can get at your own job. You get a bad review or you do a bad week and you feel like, damn, I can't do this shit. You can. You just get it out of your head. And like Sirianni, he owned up to it. I'm okay with that. But can you learn from that and move forward? We will see. But I think some fresh blood in the system this year will change his mind. But he's got to cool off on the sideline. I love when he yells at the ref. I'm cool with that. We love Nick Nurse for that shit. But there's a time and place. My second grade teacher told me that. You can't always be the class clown. There's a time and place for that shit, Pat. So, you know what I mean? You got to figure that shit out. What's your second grade
teacher's name?
Miss Casey. Never forget her.
Yo, shout out Miss Casey from the Northeast.
She's married now. She's Mrs. something else, but she was Miss Casey. Yeah.
Well, Mrs. whatever, you're married now. Shout out to you from the Northeast.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I think you do bring up a good point, right? That it is about maturity, and some of that is Sirianni just having to mature and police himself as a coach. He shouldn't really need Big Dom to do that, but the fact that it seems like that is the case and that he did admit that his emotions got the best of him and it really came to light when Big Dom went out isn't great for him. Like, it just...
No.
Hopefully he does show that he can mature and can kind of just contain his emotions a little bit more, because as a head football coach of an NFL team, you have to. And you saw the Super Bowl Travis Kelce gets in Andy Reid's face, Andy Reid kind of just like shrugs it off, says, yeah, that's just what we do. They go out and win a Super Bowl. If let's just say let's say Jason Kelce does that to Nick Sirianni, maybe Nick Sirianni does what Andy Reid does because it's Jason Kelce, but there's also a likelihood that he snaps back at him, and then what?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Derek Gunn's in tune with this team, and I don't think that he's making that up. I think he has credible sources that say that the players feel this way, but at the same time, like, whether that is true or not, and assuming it is true, it's on Sirianni to clean himself up.
I understand that. I just think that, there's, again, even with like any sports podcast, not like you're in kind of a dead zone of sports, right? There's no big moves happening, especially in the NFL, and you could, of course, we all saw it. It's nothing new. Like saying that without Big Dom, Nick Sirianni seemed a little bit wild. Yeah, you could see it. It wasn't hidden. I mean, the guy's wild on the sidelines, even with Big Dom. Running up and down the sideline, doing the fucking almost damn near Deion Sanders step going in whenever they score a touchdown. Like, that's cool. I love that when we're winning, 25-0. But, I think that's some senior leadership. And I also feel like that was probably addressed in that meeting. There's a reason why they kept him here. If they felt that he really was a little bit too emotional as a head coach, they would not have kept him here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it could be the Dougie P thing where you keep him here for a couple of weeks and then, let him go if they play bad. But you get lucky, to Trevor's point, where, like, when you're winning, you let it go under the rug. You let the guy in school that's kind of fucking around be okay because he's getting B's and, whatever, figuring out in class. But, like, Nick Sirianni now, you got all this talent. You had a big fucking goose egg at the end of the season and in the playoffs. You can't give up. You can't get this. You won't have this same amount of talent on both, at least on the offensive side of the ball. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a head coach in a great fan base with a great team coming off 2 years ago being in the Super Bowl with a young quarterback, young receiver core, top 5 O-line in the NFL. You have a chance to do something great here, and you're not going to... I would be hard-pressed if you were a fly on the wall in that meeting room with Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, and Nick Sirianni, that wasn't brought up.
Oh, I'm sure it was, because they conduct those interviews to ask players about it. That's probably where Derek Gunn's sources got their info to give him. But
it's secondhand. Like, that's what my point is. Like, these reports that come out from Derek Gunn, like, of course, Big Dom was the man that was, like, his caregiver just about, like, on the sideline, making sure he stayed in check. Like, we all know that. We saw that happen. We get it. We know it. You don't have to keep bringing it up. We're over this now. That's my biggest take, I guess, from Philadelphia media is that, like, don't keep bringing up shit that we're already past. Like, we're over this. We gotta get moving, looking forward here.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's all I'm saying.
Particularly news to
nothing was shocking.
Any of us. Yeah.
But the Birds. Yeah.
I was gonna say on the Sirianni subject, he took the coaches to Geno's.
Yeah.
You seen that picture?
I seen
it's
that.
It's him.
Yeah.
Patullo, Vic Fangio's there.
Yeah.
And the new QB coach, I forget his name, Newsmeyer or something. And a couple Geno's employees, they really went to Geno's of all places.
Yeah, I mean, you could have at least just gone across the street to Pat's, which is, I think, clearly a superior cheesesteak to Geno's.
Geno's is probably the worst cheesesteak.
It's definitely down there.
It's not great.
You know what I mean? Like,
they went to D'Alessandro's.
Dude, there's so many more places they could have gone to. They could have gone to Angelo's.
Joe's.
Joe's, formerly, I won't say it because it's a racial slur.
What was it? Oh, that ball.
Chunks.
What the game you could play with the rubber ball against the wall. You know what I mean? You smack the rubber ball against the wall.
What?
There's a game,
that's what you called it back in the day?
I never called anything.
I never called that.
I never came out of my mouth. I never said that. No. But there's also a game that's called that. I'm not going to say the game either, but I'm saying it could have been either or. But
they are good though.
I mean, they named it.
The
dude said they named it because we used to call him that because he's not. I don't think he was he.
No, I don't think there was any.
The original owner was...
No one there was Chinese.
Right, but the original owner was called that, even though he wasn't...
It was like a nickname or something.
Asian. That was his nickname, so they named it that. That's all.
Yeah,
but the original place is really nice. It's like so small, but
Even the one in Fishtown's solid.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like
it's not bad. You could have a show at Johnny Render's or something.
Yeah, I definitely made that move before.
The OG spot is really
Yep.
good. The booths are like real tiny because it's like built in the 1950s, so like you can barely fit in it. The milkshakes are great. You get a big cheesesteak. I like Joe's original spot. I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, to be honest with you, but Gino's, it's just like a generic. Again, trying to get that shit like we're Philadelphia.
He's doing that pandering nonsense.
City. Yeah, it's bullshit stuff.
He's lived here long enough. He should know where to get a real cheesesteak.
Yeah, Wawa. Nah, I'm playing.
Dude, he needs to go to. What's it called? It's not in Philly. It's in Jersey. But
Donkeys.
Donkeys is solid.
What were you about to
Donkeys is
say?
banging. I had a friend. He passed away this past summer. Shout out Bear Williams. He worked at Gaetano's in Willingboro. They also have one in Pennsauken. Their cheesesteaks were banging. They give you a big cheesesteak. Really good.
Yeah, Jersey has a lot of good cheesesteaks.
Donkeys, I will say, fucking
Donkeys
rocks.
is banging too.
I still never been.
Oh my
You
god,
never?
No, because they have like bank hours.
they do open, but first Saturdays you should go because they have wings.
They
in
also
too.
have one in Medford that's apparently the same. That's open
really?
weekends
Yeah.
too.
But the one in
I think
Camden
you gotta
is
go to the OG
the Camden
one.
though is like a good environment. Every
There
first
was
So the
one-
Camden one's so fun to hang out
every
at.
first Saturday they're open, and that's the first time I got a drink called a shave and a haircut, where you get, So I'm like, I'm a big Guinness fan, so I go there. I'm like, I'll have a Guinness with a cheesesteak. They're like, do you want a shave and a haircut? I'm like,
What the hell's that?
what? They said it's you fill the pint glass with like 3/4 of, maybe like a half away, maybe 3/4 away with Guinness. Then they give you a shot of what is the shot of? They give you a shot of like whiskey,
Jameson or something.
just a shot of whiskey, yeah, and then they top it off with birch beer.
Ooh, that
It's
sounds tasty.
so
The birch
good.
beer is
That's
probably a nice
interesting.
addition.
Oh my god, it's delicious. And you know who else sells that shit? Some bar in Wildwood. There's an Irish pub in Wildwood that sells it too.
What's it called?
A shave and a haircut.
Interesting.
It's a drink.
Yeah, we got to go to Donkey. I haven't been at Donkey's. I haven't sat down at Donkey's, had a steak and a beer in probably like 5 years.
We try to bring you out last time.
Yeah, I remember
we
that.
tried it's the first Saturday of every month they're open. Otherwise, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Like you can't get there after work. But
Yeah,
the
you gotta
first
take a
Saturday, like coming up right now, will be March. They'll be open next weekend on Saturday.
Might have
Great
to make
spot,
a trip.
great environment, and they fucking love St. Patty's Day, so they'll be open. They'll have all the shit for that shit too.
Yeah, that place is great,
Yeah.
man. Like if you picked that bar up and just put it in South Philly,
Oh,
it would fit right in. It's so divey and just like the locals come in and the regulars from Camden come in. They're just like your locals and regulars from Philly.
bunch of Philly firefighters go in there too. A bunch of other people, like, you know what I mean? People like that come in to play basketball too from other cities try to get, like the Nets tried to go in there the one time last year, but they had to deny the order because there's poppy seeds on the bun.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
afraid
they'll
of
feel
him
it.
getting hurt. Yeah, they were
It'll
afraid
show
of
up on a drug test.
Yeah,
It's heroin.
there's gonna be
Yeah.
some Seinfeld shit.
The like athletic trainer was like, we can't risk like the whole team, getting drug tested and then having a false positive or
kinda
whatever.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, their steaks are banging. They do it with the Kaiser
Oh,
roll, with the
Kaiser
seeded
roll,
bun.
yeah.
I was a
their
hater.
onions.
I was a hater for a while, but Hannah did.
Yeah,
She got me right.
Their
That shit's good.
onions are terrific.
Right on King Road. King
Yeah,
Street.
on Haddon Ave and King Street.
King
yeah,
Street,
on
yeah.
Haddon Ave and King Street.
There's a great Jamaican spot apparently across the street.
Apparently, a dispensary's right next door now too.
Yeah.
Damn, so you can eat like a bunch of cheesesteaks.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the move. You
Go to the
gotta,
dispensary.
And they got wings on Saturdays. They got fresh wings on the first Saturday.
yo,
too.
here's the move. You go to the dispensary. You get you some edibles. You eat one. You go to the Donkey's bar. You have yourself a beer or two while you're feeling them edibles. And then once you're nice and stoned, then it's time to get that steak. You'll have a great day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, we got to do
Sounds
that.
like a
Great
good time.
merch too.
Yeah, no, Donkey's is fantastic.
Yeah. Well-
Nick Sirianni's got to take them to Donkeys, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does live in Jersey. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, you should know. Well, I guess we want to keep it moving here and maybe touch on the Flyers real quick.
Yeah, coming off a hot win.
We
Yeah.
didn't get to watch the Stadium Series. We were in the Cat Williams show at the time.
Didn't miss much.
Yeah, apparently that game sucked.
The highlight of that
Person
game
didn't
though.
look too good, but
How about that walk-in?
The what?
I like the walk-in
they
though.
walked
When
in
they all
with the
walked in
sweats.
Rocky.
Oh, with
yeah,
the
that
Rocky
shit was
gear.
sick.
Yeah, that was pretty
Apparently, we didn't see this, but apparently the Devils players walked in like the Sopranos.
No, they said they
yeah.
missed an opportunity to walk in like that.
Oh,
I thought.
okay. Maybe.
I thought so. I I wasn't
I
sure.
kind of heard something about the Soprano. Maybe they missed the opportunity.
I think what I saw is that like they missed a great opportunity to walk in like in tracksuits and shit.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
messed
But
up
they
then.
may have though. But the Rocky shit was sick. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, we're about to win this game like 1-0 and then
Did not happen.
nah.
Gave up a goal 32 seconds.
It's funny,
in.
they were like, we're walking in like The Sopranos, and we're all choosing the episode where Vito gets caught at the gay bar, and they're all wearing leather.
Assless chaps
And that's just, yeah.
with the little leather cap.
They're like all getting off the bus going like, it's just a joke, it's just a joke.
Huh?
Also, we walked in with the Rocky sweatsuit where we didn't realize that like that first movie he didn't win.
Yeah.
Rocky's not a winner in the first movie.
That is true.
So
That's
like
a good
you
point.
walked in
True.
with the meat locker
Yeah, you're just
one,
barking up the wrong
Yeah,
tree.
yeah.
You're asking
Rocky
for a
too.
and you
loss.
didn't even go the distance. You didn't even like make it a game.
Rocky
you just
4.
you just got beat.
Yeah.
This ain't fucking Soviet Union. If you're playing Russia, we got a chance. But you know, you're fucking playing R.I.P. Weathers.
Carl Weathers,
You know
man.
what I mean? He beat your ass. We just got
Yeah.
smoked. But
Yeah, so I guess not much to say about that game because we didn't really get to watch
Why
it.
not?
But they come back against the Blackhawks, win fairly handily. They looked a little shaky there in the third period,
Yo,
but still
Urson
held
stood
on
on his head.
Yeah,
a
Urson had some really
couple
great
really
saves.
nice saves. I was like, damn, yo.
It was cool for him to
was
have a
it-
game like that too, because that was like a TNT game. 'Cause I feel like
Yeah,
every
you had-
time
good Bedard.
I feel like every time
Bedard's a bitch anyway.
I feel like every time the Flyers have a nationally televised game, they just suck.
Yeah.
And this time they actually came out and played well. I mean, the Blackhawks are terrible.
But he still went
You know,
what?
aside
20,
from Bedard, but
he went what? 20 for 21
Or
saves.
21 for 22, I
22,
think, by the
something
end of the
like- I mean, he had a
game.
great
yeah.
game that
he had
way,
a couple
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, there were a
Yeah.
couple
He had, that
saves.
one, he had that one really great glove save on a 2-on-1.
Yeah, he had that was in the first period, right?
Yeah.
Well, then for that, dude, hey, we got that little flyer shot glass there for that. Fuck Connor Bedard.
Yeah, shout out Samuel Urson, the real rookie
Hell
of the
yeah.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
The real Calder Cup winner.
Yeah, he didn't get injured for a month or two or whatever.
Wearing a fucking Knights helmet on his head. You seen that helmet Bedard's wearing? It's like a Knights helmet made out of glass, dude. Or
I
plexiglass.
didn't really notice.
It like
He had
covers
some- he had some
because he had a
pretty sick-
broken jaw, so like
Yeah.
it covers his entire face down to
Damn.
his neck.
So
He
You
had
got a
some pretty
bitch-ass
sick
draw?
moves last night, though.
Yo, he is good.
Yeah, he's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with for many years to come.
Luckily, he's in
Yeah,
the
but
Western
not-
Conference.
Not
Yeah.
last night though. Fucking pussy.
Yeah, Urson stood on his head. Konechny had that one goal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
That
nice.
one goal was nice, man.
Hathaway got one.
Hathaway was pucking, dude.
Yeah,
He was hitting people.
he got the dog mask at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Then Sealer got into that fight
Yeah.
for whatever reason when they're winning. It's like, dude, you could just chill, you know. But hey, he was feeling himself.
Yeah.
That was a good win.
And then I guess organizational wise, the news is that there's been some reports that the Flyers are at least considering the idea of re-signing Sean Walker. A lot of people have been freaking out about this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it makes sense for them to say that and pretty much purposely leak that out, because like we were kind of talking about this last week, where they're in a position where they're third in the Metro. They're not like some tanking team that has these expiring contracts that absolutely have to get rid of them because they have no choice or whatever. So, I still think at the end of the day, Sean Walker is probably going to end up on another team. But at least this sort of gets the idea out there that Danny Briere is not just going to give him away for nothing. They're good. If you want this guy, you're going to have to give a serious offer. Because if not, we are, likely at this point, seems likely that they'll make the playoffs, and wouldn't mind going in with a full squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm not so sure that they're going to trade him, just because who
Yeah.
knows what this Ristolainen injury really is. Like, you never know with hockey injuries.
Yeah.
They're always intentionally vague, right? And, I mean, not for nothing, but Sean Walker, like, he plays a fine role, as I said last week. So, would I be upset if they didn't trade him? Probably not. Or no, I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. Would I be upset if they traded him? Probably not. Would I be upset if they didn't trade him? No, I'd be fine with it. Would I be upset if they didn't trade him? They extended him for like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah,
Then I'm
I
like,
think we'd-
okay.
yeah, I mean,
you don't need to be doing all that now.
I'm not worried about them doing that. I mean, to me, like.
But that's what the rumor was, is that they were going to extend him.
Yeah, I mean,
I
guess
don't want that.
Well, yeah, I don't really want that either. But yeah, I mean, to me, it would just seem like a real missed opportunity to get value on a guy that going into the season you probably were not expecting to get anything close to like a first round pick for.
I guess it's kind of like the Pat
they'll
Bev
probably
trade in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they could conceivably get a late first round. Maybe like if they had to settle for a second, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But going into the season, I don't think anyone's really expecting that this would be a guy that you'd be able to flip for anything that valuable. But the fact that they have Torts and Brad Shaw that have been really good at coaching up these defensemen, and he's been playing really well, that seems to me like, you've created this value in this player, and you should like pounce on that and take advantage of it while you can. So it would be a little disappointing to me if they don't move him, but then, again, they are sitting at third in the Metro.
Dude, right. So like if they move him and Ristolainen, let's say he needs to get season-ending surgery, then you're down two defensemen that helped get you to this point. Then what are you doing? Like, who's the next defenseman up in the minors?
Yeah, like Emile Andre, I guess, or
which he did not look good his first. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I think this injury with Ristolainen has them like kind of second guessing. We'll see what they end up doing. We got 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the trade deadline yet?
Yeah, a little bit of time. But we'll see what happens.
I don't know. Like I said last week, I think the vibes are high. Everyone loves each other. They love playing with each other. It reminds me of the Phillies.
Playing that Squirtle sax song.
Yeah, I think if anything, I think Lawton is probably maybe more likely to go. He missed an easy empty net goal last night.
Yeah, dude, I was so pissed. I was like, Lawton, you would have had another goal in the tally. We wouldn't need to tell everyone that was an empty netter. Just say, the goal is a goal. Pay up.
Teams are going to look for like that third or fourth line center or forward, which he gives you that. So.
Yeah, he's exactly the type of dude that playoff teams want to like beef up their.
He's more expendable, right? Because you have Forster expected to come back. You know what I'm saying?
And Paling's been kind of.
Yeah, Paling's been playing good. He had a good game last night.
Yeah. He can kind of fill that role for cheaper.
So I think Lawton. I don't want to see Lawton go. Just been a Flyer for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a big vibes and intangibles guy, but I think of the two of them, he's more expendable in my opinion. But hey, we'll see what they do. We got 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the trade deadline. So late for the NHL. March 8th, the season ends a month after that. They got to get their
trade
together.
line is pretty much like last chance to put something together. It's not like we're going to do this in the second half of the year. It's very late. But, yeah, we'll see what they do. I guess that's about it for the Flyers. The Phillies.
That's all I got written down. Yeah, the Phillies, man.
Phillies, man, yeah.
They have reported.
They're there.
Yes, they play their first game Saturday.
Against the Blue Jays.
Kobe Allard, my boy.
Who?
Kobe Allard starts the game against the Blue Jays.
Kobe Allard?
Remember, I was sitting here a couple weeks ago saying they signed him. He's ass. He was a first-round pick of the Braves. It's like a 6 ERA for his career.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he starts on Saturday. So I am probably not going to watch it. I'll probably be watching the Union, quite frankly.
Yeah, big time.
But,
yeah, it might not even be on, like, TV. I don't know.
I think it's on MLB Network.
Okay,
yeah.
Which I don't.
I do get that because I pay way too goddamn much for cable.
Yeah, I got that for
old
Hulu.
school.
I got that shit for Hulu.
Cable's
so
ass, dude. It's so goddamn expensive.
Yeah.
And now all this stuff's on streaming now, anyways.
Hulu, you get $60. Well, that shit
I
ain't
think
cheap
I'm gonna
either,
go
though.
back to Hulu Live or YouTube TV.
Hulu Live $60 a month, but you get all that weird shit in there. Which
What
when
do you
when sports aren't on, you're like paying a lot for nothing. But then when all the sports are back on, you're like, all right, nice. Like now I can watch any.
Yeah, I'm about to go back to Hulu Live.
But you can't watch Union unless Apple TV.
Yeah, you need
all their games are on Apple TV.
Yeah. MLS is kind of
because when they got Messi in that shit, they gave him stock in Apple, and every MLS game now is on Apple TV.
I guess I'm just gonna have to go out to watch every Union game.
Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch?
Well, unless
go out to
Apple
Brauhaus
TV
Schmitz to watch
though is
every
like a
game.
weird thing to have too. Like you got to really You know what I mean?
Apple TV does have some good stuff, dude. If you get Apple TV, you gotta watch Severance. That show
Oh,
is
I heard that
awesome.
show was good.
That
That
yeah.
show's awesome.
Dude, it was so... I'm not going to have any spoilers, but it was so slow for the first whole season. But then the last episode, when
it
everybody
picks up
got...
really- yeah.
You know what I mean? Man, that shit was...
I did hear
great
good things about
cast.
that
Oh,
show.
yeah. That shit was good. But, yeah, Philly's back. What, they got? Whitmore?
Yeah.
Whitfield.
Whitfield?
Yo, so
Whitmore.
What's his name? Whitfield?
Whit Merrifield.
What's the fuck his name?
Whit
Merrifield?
Merrifield.
Yeah, where's Whit?
Yo, so
Where's Whit
here's the
Merrifield?
deal, right? When we were in Atlantic City, I got the push notification saying they signed him. I was like, oh shit, the Phillies signed him. And you're like, who the hell's that? Understandably so, right?
When did you say that shit? Friday?
Friday.
Oh, well,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
on
what?
Friday.
No, it
Obviously,
was
yeah.
like before we started drinking and doing drugs.
Oh.
But
Well,
like,
no, I had been drinking those since on my walk over, so I don't...
okay, so you might have had half a buzz on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like, who the hell's that? I don't know who that is. So then like, I don't know. I realized, yeah, his last several years, or not several, his last probably 3 or 4 years, his last good year was 2020, the COVID season. But dude, in his
can
career, he's a 3-time All-Star. He led the league in stolen bases 3 times.
Yeah.
He led the league in triples once, doubles once, and in hits twice.
Yeah, and he can steal.
He can hit, dude. But the problem is he was in Kansas City for most of his career.
Yeah.
No one pays attention to them. He's I can't say he's a really good player now. I think he's like 35. But like, he's still got
Or
some
like a
juice
bench
left in the
bat.
tank,
But
dude.
he's a utility knife, and that's what Dombrowski said. He's like, if we need to, he can play outfield, he can play infield, he can play wherever you want to put him, and the man can hit. He might not be able to get you home runs all the time, but he can get on base, and he can steal like a motherfucker.
Dude, yeah,
The man had 25 steals last year.
yeah. And here's the deal,
At
right?
Fucking, how old did he say he was?
35.
Yeah, 35, 25 steals.
And
That's good.
Here's the thing, right? I think the Blue Jays overused him. Like, apparently Matt Gelb was saying on his podcast, the Blue Jays would even tell you, like, yeah, we overused this guy. Because here's what happened. Through July 31st, Whit Merrifield hit 303 with a 351 on base and a 430 slug.
Yeah,
That's solid production for a 34-year-old dude.
I'll take that.
I would take that all day. But then what happened is he wore down because he's old.
Yeah,
So the second, or not even second half, from August 1st on, he only hit 212 with a 250 OBP and a 288
which
slug.
is so good.
Well, no, that's pretty bad.
It's not for 35 years old though. For 35 years old, that ain't terrible.
It's not great, but like,
Look at fucking whatever. I'm gonna say Schwarber in there, but he didn't get
that
35
Schwarber ain't
home
that
runs.
old, yeah. But like, yeah, my point being is that the Phillies don't overuse this guy. He can play left field. He can play second. Can probably play a little first for you. He can fill a bunch of positions to give these guys a day off. He's a proven right-handed bat. He just wants to win, dude. He even said, he was like, yo, I've done all this stuff, right? I've won batting titles. I won stolen base titles. I've been an all-star. I never won. I just want to win.
Yeah.
So he came here. He's got an opportunity to win. Paying him a lot to be a bench bat at $8 million, but our bench was ass. I think our bench collectively last year, I don't have it written down. I meant to grab this, but I think our bench last year had collectively like a 654 OPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty miserable.
So he's going to give our bench a huge lift. Like, think of these guys coming off the bench last year. Edmundo Sosa. He was probably the best one. Weston Wilson, who barely played. Your boy, Derek Hall.
Derek Hall.
Don't even fuck that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Garrett Stubbs got a lot of like pinch hitting at bats for us. It's like, yeah, all those guys, like, not for nothing, were just not productive outs or not productive hitters. They were easy outs.
That also shows though a clear indication of like left field, him, and then DH Schwarber. You got Harper at first.
Yeah,
which
when
is a
there's a
good,
lefty on the mound, I think he plays left field.
He's
So
got
Marsh
phenomenal
isn't
lefty
exposed.
numbers too. His lefty numbers are fantastic,
Right,
which we don't have.
Yeah,
So that was a good thing to see, and also like Nebraska, like they're making calculated moves. They couldn't make the big move, you know what I mean, as a pitching standpoint to get the cool Japanese guy, but like at the same time, like you have, you know, if Trey Turner doesn't shit the bed the first half of the season, you're in a better position to be in a better seating.
and you
last
have
year.
Harper for the whole start of the season.
If you have Harper
that's
not coming
huge.
off an injury, you're in a better position. Now you have a healthy Harper at first, who's stable. You have a Turner who's should come back now, playing like he did the second half of last year. The first half was ass. We don't need a standing ovation, all that bullshit. So you have those two guys playing at the top of their game. You got Schwarber on DH, who can just sit back and relax and just hit dingers all day. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Castellanos as a guy
it's like all they got to do is just not suck for the first 2 months of the season like they have the past two.
Yeah.
I just think that like the last couple of years they've had such a slow start. Like, you start so early in the year and they take 2 or 3 months off for like they're not terrible, but they're not great. Like, you should come out this year and just fucking obliterate everybody. That's what you have to do. That's what they've paid all this money to do. You don't bring in Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Castellanos, Realmuto a couple years ago, Schwarber. You don't bring in all these big bats to.
And then if you want to expand to the pitching staff, Wheeler too, right?
To just
what I'm
play,
saying?
possum for the first month or two. You bring this money in to like you want to start off hot, and I love. Middleton came in there and was like, "Give me that fucking trophy back," which he didn't say since we had. Howard and Utley and Rollins, he said that shit the year that they won the World Series.
Yeah.
He said that bring that fucking trophy home. Yeah, man, bring that shit home.
I mean, he recognizes the opportunity. Their payroll's like 260.
This is it.
Their payroll's $260 million, dude.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And they have the production to do it. Everybody's healthy. Harper's back. He's good to go. Trey Turner is back here for a full offseason with us. The potential is right there. You just stay healthy. You win games. You don't fuck up. And just play ball. Good to see Charlie Manuel too back on the walking around looking
After he had
good.
a stroke and shit. Yeah.
He does look old as fuck.
He looks much older than he did even 5 years ago. But I mean, having a stroke will do that to you.
You couldn't understand it before. You probably can't understand him now.
Yeah, you really can now. But hey, good for him. Good for Charlie. Good for the team. That's probably emotional jolt for a lot of the players and the coaches.
It's just good to have him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phillies are on the up. I think that, good to have them back out there. They look energized. I will say, I know it's just, spring training and shit like that, but they do look happy to be back.
They seem a little more into it than they did
just
like
seem
the last
lively.
couple seasons.
Some more balanced in their step, which is good to see. I think that when you lose a game, like when you lose in the World Series, you come back like, damn, we played a whole, it's shortened off season like a Super Bowl loss or win is. But you didn't get there, and you lost at home, which is even more infuriating. I think it's a good taste in their mouth to have, coming in healthy.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah,
with or without a good bullpen, honestly, because this team is built. This team is built for the bats, not really the bullpen.
I think the bullpen should be good though if we figure our boy Kirker steps
honestly,
up.
like as much as certain Kimbrel disappointed down the stretch or whatever, but you look in totality, last year the bullpen was pretty damn good. Compared to other teams.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to having Kirkring for a whole year. I think he's going to settle in and be really strong for us.
Yeah, you got Alvarado again. Alvarado was throwing gas at the end of the year.
Walker's still here.
Yeah, you hope Soto can get it together a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's his name? Who's the other
Jeff.
righty? Oh, cousin Jeff.
Jeff Hoffman.
Jeff Hoffman. Yeah, Jeff Hoffman was
that
dealing at the
lanky-ass
end of the season.
motherfucker out here looking good.
Yeah, I think the bullpen should be solid. Probably some of the middle relief might be a little tight, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you don't have to rely on
I'm thinking this year you're going to have games that we hit almost like that, like 15, 12-run game.
The offense is set up for it. There's no reason not to.
They have to.
Yeah. But you know what's not so good? Are these Fanatics jerseys.
These things are atrocious.
So last week we talked a lot about the tops, but this week the bottoms have become a new problem.
You can see through my man's underwear.
Right through, yeah. So, you can see, I mean, and they've been doing these, like, photo days and stuff, and you can, every one you can see the shirt tucked into the pants.
The dovetail.
You can see the whole thing. And
it looks like a big diaper, but it's really just the tucked in top part it's so thin.
Yeah. And like the players have been complaining about this and all that stuff. And so what a lot of people have been talking about is, if the players really want to put an end to this, all they have to do is have a few of them come out there and go commando.
Yeah.
On TV So, like, who in the Phillies do you think would be the most likely to do so?
Schwarber.
Wet Brandon.
Schwarber.
It's going to be Wet Brandon.
Wet Brandon.
Schwarber's got a hog.
So, lots of people were saying Castellanos.
Yeah, I mean, he's already walking around with his jersey half unbuttoned anyway.
I think that he's too much of a
But
showboat.
his son watches these games
I was gonna
too,
say,
though.
if his son's in the
See,
crowd.
Wet Brandon don't have kids.
Yeah, Wet Brandon's
just
young enough. He's
yeah,
still
he's
like
a
a college.
wild
He's pretty
man,
much like
dude.
could still be in college.
I think Kyle Schwarber probably drinking all them Bud Heavies. He probably got a wild hog. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? He come out there and just
like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else. Stott wouldn't. Harper definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, he's a Mormon.
Nah,
Real Muto's a catcher. He's covered all
I
the
think
time
Harper
anyway.
still wears a fucking chastity belt, even though he's got kids. He still wears that fucking thing locked
probably
up.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he ain't seen that shit.
Yeah, Harper.
Schwarber's gonna be out there
iron.
just fucking just butt naked from the waist down.
I'm trying to think who was partying
Gonna go out
the
there like Winnie the
hardest.
Pooh.
Oh, Bone probably would. You remember Bone partying last year when we
yeah.
won?
Yeah.
He was all drunk doing interviews. Bone probably would.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
bet
yeah.
you. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, no, Schwarber's still my bet on that shit.
For me, it's Bone or Wet Brandon. I don't think Wet Brandon gives any fucks.
I think when Brandon
yeah.
steals too many bases, it'll be fucking
But even
free ball that shit.
That's true.
even
If
without
it's that thin,
He'll be flopping around.
he'd be,
yeah.
Schwarber, he don't run around that much. He'd be out there just slinging that thing.
point.
yeah, I mean, even without going full commando, I mean, we saw some pictures today of just regular whatever, and you can like clearly see just the outline.
Yeah, that's
of players'
horrible.
balls.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what is going on?
Well, not for the. Oh, never mind.
It feels like to me, it feels like I feel like Rob Manfred was kind of just feeling himself a little bit because of the success of the new rules last year. It was like, all right, we got the pitch clock, the bigger bases, the more stolen bases.
Yeah.
Everyone's loving it. Big success. Let's keep pushing it.
He's like, no underwear. They're like,
No
what
one,
the
yeah,
fuck?
see-through pants.
Yeah.
Nah, this
You know,
one's wrong.
bringing
This shit's
sexy
weird.
back.
This shit's weird.
Do you think the Fanatics could this lasts a full season?
No, it can't. Because
I
no one's
don't know
gonna.
if this makes that a
They're
spring
gonna see
training.
a drop in tickets in jersey sales. There's no way. No one wants to buy this shit. The
Yeah.
back plate looks terrible. The fucking shit looks like. Come on now, what we doing here?
We're turning America's pastime into America's ass time, fellas.
Yeah, but with the wrong team.
It's gonna be
Baseball players don't have dump trucks. Who wants to see that shit? NFL, maybe. MLB,
Yeah.
definitely
Some
not.
baseball players do have some. They are a little husky.
Some see, but the fact that you
Bryce
started with,
Harper's got a big butt.
the fact that you started with some though, NFL, NBA,
Not every NFL player has a big ass.
all the I'm not trying to get, you know, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, but yeah, most of them do. They got dump trucks compared to baseball players.
Devontae Smith has no ass.
pitchers have big asses.
What?
Remember Antonio Bastardo?
He did have a big ass.
Yeah.
That's one man. I'm just saying. I think in a totality of league by league, MLB probably has the least amount of ass
Nah.
next to the NHL.
I think.
You can't tell behind
in
them
the
pads.
order in the hierarchy of big booties. Yes, it goes NFL first. I think you got to slot MLB before NBA.
I don't know because
These
you think
NBA
about
guys be skinny,
Yeah,
running up and
just
down the
skinny
court.
But hear me out now.
tall.
What NBA
Yes.
above?
NBA
You
below
you think
ML.
you think
it's
it's NFL,
NFL,
obviously.
MLB, then NBA, then NHL.
I think that you're you can't
Unless
tell.
we throw MLS
No.
in here too.
You can't. Well, MLS
I
definitely.
don't know. NHL, you might be underselling NHL a little
You're
bit.
underselling the Eastern European
like, NHL
bullshit
players-
women. They make big booty people.
NHL players have to have really strong thighs because that's what they're pushing off of.
Yeah,
and they
some of them do have
So they're
some
doing
nice
like
quads,
mad
yeah.
squats.
They hide behind the fucking pads.
Yeah, so NBA's last.
Maybe.
Well, potentially, I don't know.
What NBA player you know has a nice ass? They're all so tall.
Kyle Lowry.
I don't know. See, but
Good
but
point,
I
good
will say
point.
this though: the NBA is tough to judge because the pants are more loose. We're like NFL tight. You know what I mean?
Baseball type.
Yeah, baseball, they're
tight.
pretty much wearing those pajama
NBA
pants.
is they're the loosest pants, so it's hard
It's
to
true.
tell the
It's-
ass definition.
They got to bring back those
You know what I
older.
Fair. Yeah,
You're
and Kyle
telling-
Lowry does have a big butt.
He fits in fucking loose pants.
Yeah, Jaden
tight.
Springer, big ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, he's got a big butt. Okay.
I'm just
all right.
saying, I'm not going to dissect everybody, but I think I think
Well,
if they wore tighter fit pants, but I think NFL is a definite given. And
It's
number one,
NFL, MLB, NHL, or NBA. I still feel that way.
I would. Yeah, I don't know. I think MLB probably, but again, it's what you see right away. The pants have gotten tighter in the MLB, so it's easy to be like, oh, damn, yeah, like Batista's, people got big dump trucks. You see that shit. NBA, it's hard to tell because they got that little, the pants are more bouncy. It's hard to tell. But I think it's a good bottom two. I think that's the easiest flip-flop of them all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's up to the people.
MLB is probably going to, wherever anyone else has them ranked, is probably going to climb the rankings with these new uniforms. Assuming that, they're not going to be able to, might not have the logistics in place to replace them in time, and they might just have to deal with them for a year. But they might just, lean into it.
Oh, they're not changing them. This is it. We got this shit for a year. There's no way.
I think if it gets really egregious, they might have to change them.
Wait for a rainy game when that shit's going to...
Oh, my God.
It's like
That's
a wet t-shirt
point.
contest out there. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to change them.
You see someone not wearing a coat, you're like, holy shit.
It's sex night at CBP.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the line. That's a good point. When it rains, they're going to be like, they're
going to have like one night where they replace Dan Baker with one of those like ASMR like girls on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I like some ASMR.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so just get ready for that shit.
First base.
Trevor, man, you're not good at this.
Bryce Harper.
No.
I'm about to shit my pants.
Yeah, I'm about to walk out on this podcast. So you can't be doing that. No. But, yeah, I mean, I guess Phillies, we can be excited. Season starts in a little over a month.
Yep.
We shall see what happens. I think that's all I got on the Phillies.
That's all I got.
Harper's going to stay at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There are some implications to it, but we don't got to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I got plenty of time to get into that later.
Yeah.
Oh, did we want to talk about the shoes?
Yeah, we got to talk about the Trump
shoes.
In the Chipotle boycott.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess if you hadn't heard, there's did some like who like made these shoes? Like, what is the story here?
I don't know the company, but it's like a Trump branded. They're calling them the Air January 6s.
We heard someone on Fox News talking about the potential demographic and political implications of this.
Even the sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. Very interesting. As you see black support eroding from Joe Biden, this is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, Lord. Certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. Yeah. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he on this?
Hell no, he's not on to something.
I feel disgusted that he launched his shit in Philadelphia. I think that because the ShoeCon thing was in Philly when he
I'm looking at that right now.
This. But I think that on a bigger scale, I think that the whole cultural thing, I think that he keeps referring to just black people as they. When he's like, yeah, they love shoes. Like, well, that's fucked up. Like, this is fucking clearly a man that's unhinged on a fake fucking news network just trying to get fucking whatever he wants to do to try to get Trump to be president. But
yeah, I don't think this guy knows a lot about sneakers.
On a larger scale, you got, meanwhile, Michael Jordan is launching the first ever Jordan shoe store in Philadelphia, which is, if you want to talk about culture and cool shit, that is more on brand. These shoes look just about like, you go out in the rain, I feel like that gold dust on that shit would just melt off. Like, these things aren't going to be good for anything.
They look like, I mean, yeah.
How much are these?
I don't know.
$300 or something?
I think they're like $500.
Yeah.
Because they're probably...
but it all goes to the campaign, too. It's a campaign-funded thing.
There's probably only been a few of them made.
It's 400.
Because it's just someone took a pair of sneakers and just spray painted them.
It looks...
It's basically what they look like.
It looks like a 1950s movie that was made about the fucking like Greek god. Who's the guy that flied around a lot with a little chute?
Oh,
fucking Hermes. Yeah, it looks like that kind of shit.
Yeah,
They're just a shitty ass shoe.
Yeah, they should have
what the
little
fuck's
wings
Trump
on
know about that shit? He ain't wearing like that. I think it's just fucking
it would
despicable.
be really fun. I mean, honestly, it's just another clever way for them to make money because I mean, you see how they ate up those hats. So if you can get all these people to buy like $400 shoes, they're all walking around with the red hat and these goofy
his ass
shoes.
is hurting. He bankrupt. This is how
That's
he gets
true.
a little paper.
He's like
he owes
he can't do business in New York for a few years or whatever it was.
He tried to do that shit, and then he tried to appeal it. They were like, "No, you can't do that shit." And he's about to have to sell some buildings and shit. Like $335 billion. That thing I didn't have that fucking money on hand. He doesn't have that cash.
Apparently, too, right? These shoes, like, they aren't made yet. They're only actually going to get manufactured if people pre-order for them to be profitable.
He tried pulling some Tesla bullshit then.
Yeah. So people have to pre-order, and then once they see how many pre-orders, they'll be like, okay, we'll make them.
Hey, guess what? Are they made in America?
Hell no.
Exactly. This motherfucker, this piece of fucking shit. Not that I care where things are made, but like you can't
He'll tell people they're made from America.
You can't run on your whole thing being shit's made in America when like all your shit is not made in America. The people that you hired to build your buildings aren't from America, which is fine, no big deal. But you can't say that they are. That's okay. Say that you hired Polish immigrants to build all your buildings. You paid all your fucking hats to be built in China or wherever the fuck they were. Like, you know what I mean? This is fucking cocksucking piece of shit. I can't even stand this shit. We shouldn't give him any fucking airtime for this fucking shit. Cocksucking.
This is how we get them ratings up.
Yeah. Gotta talk about the sneakers.
We gotta talk about this guy.
Yeah, Chipotle? Well,
yeah, he loves Trump. Yo, hold up. Trump wrote the foreword to this guy's book. It's like, go ahead, play him.
Yeah, let's play this.
G'day guys, Nick Adams here outside Chipotle. Chipotle has gone woke. Chipotle embodies the worst of the DEI woke BS in our society. Today it emerged that a 23-year-old alpha male was written up for apparently misgendering some person he was training. Well, alpha males stand in solidarity. This will not stand. Qdoba and Moe's are a million times better than Chipotle anyway. The boycott, boys, begins right now.
Yo, what a lame ass bitch, dude.
And he spikes the burrito that he just bought at Chipotle onto the ground.
So then this guy, he goes on Twitter. He goes, this is a tweet from him, Nick Adams, at Nick Adams in USA, even though he's clearly from Australia. Yeah. I'm an alpha male. I don't eat Chipotle, but he calls it Chipotle, so I'm calling it Chipotle. I don't participate in Taco Tuesday. Oh, here's the kicker. I don't eat boneless wings. I don't play Fortnite, and no, I won't be apologizing for it. So, even better is I found out today that my company publishes this guy's book.
Damn.
The Alpha Kings, listeners, readers.
Yeah, learn how to be an Alpha King.
If you want to go, you don't buy his book. Probably shouldn't even encourage you to go look it up on Amazon, quite frankly, but if you want a good chuckle, go find his book sales page on Amazon.
I remember seeing that dude on Twitter a while ago and being really unsure whether it was like a parody account.
I thought it was a joke at first.
It seems like the Twitter account seems like it's a bit because it's just the most over the top
it's legit.
But yeah, I guess. And I still don't. I mean, it also seems like it's just sort of a grift. Like he's just trying to get idiots to buy his book or whatever.
I mean, his book's killing it. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fucking lunatics out there that want to buy that shit. But it's the most conservative thing to I'm going to boycott this shit. But first, I'm going to buy the item that I'm going to boycott and then shoot it with a gun or throw it in the ground. But you still made a purchase though and did your thing that you just wanted to not do. You went in there.
And anyone else that wants to do the same thing you did is going to have to buy a burrito from them.
And that means that if you were a real alpha male, you would have went in there to order that burrito and like call some people out. But you went in there like, I'll have the cheese, please, and also some guacamole on the extra side, please. And like went through that whole process and then went out when no one could see you, and then you did your little bit. It's a fucking pussy.
I think it was kind of weak that he just threw the burrito on the ground. I think he should have shot it with a gun if he was a real alpha.
I think he picked it back up because he wants to eat it. So
after the camera stopped.
He probably did pick it up and eat it.
Yeah, he did. He said that we cut that shit. All right, cool. Lost the accent and everything. Probably ate that burrito. He's like, man, I love this shit.
But also how it's like, don't go there. You go to these other two chain.
Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, which they probably have
they're
similar.
All they all have the same.
They probably have some sort of DEI
structures.
like sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of
program,
standard now in the corporate world.
They're probably all owned by
Yeah, they might be owned by the same parent company. Who knows?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
But yeah, I got a kick out of that, man.
Chipotle. Now.
Focus Friends owns Moe's.
It's also just funny. He's like, it claims to be an American. It's like, bro.
Dude, people from other countries being... I mean, I get that, like, American politics have a large effect on the rest of the world, but in Australia... Australia is basically just Australia is basically just America, but with more animals that are going to kill you.
And with funny accents.
Yeah. It's like the same thing. I don't know. I have no desire to go to Australia ever. It's like they got giant spiders.
You got platypi or like crazy poisonous.
The kangaroos try to kill your dogs.
Platypi are really poisonous.
Yeah, there's all this kind of stuff. And like for what? Is it so you go to like the Sydney Opera House?
Yeah, what you cultured as
fuck? It's like a fancy looking building.
Yeah, dingoes.
Who cares?
I guess a dingo is basically a wolf.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, like a desert wolf.
Yeah, I can do without them.
I mean, that man's a fucking bitch anyway, alpha male. He probably gets mad because that Foster's gets warm halfway when he's done drinking it because it's too big.
Yeah, they have one kind of beer there.
That man's 5'5".
In a stupidly large can. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You already know he wastes food. He can't finish a meal.
Yo, Trump did write the foreword to his book, yo.
It makes sense. This is the greatest fucking... This is the greatest forward I ever wrote in my life.
Yeah, I've looked at a couple of his Twitter posts since then. It's just like, my man
That reminds me of that one. There's like that one guy that was in The Sopranos who, I forget what the character's name is. He's like the older guy with the real like white hair.
Is he the Jewish guy?
No.
The guy that...
The guy who like is hesitant for Vito when he finds out that Vito's gay. The guy who like really wants to kill Vito. I forget what the character's name is or the actor's name is.
I know you're talking about.
But that guy came out with a book that's called A Guy's Guide to Being a Man's Man. And it's probably like similar to what this
Dude, go look, like, when you have some time. We don't got to do this now. Go look that book, Alpha Kings, up on Amazon and read the description. It is kind of like that.
Alpha Kings.
It's very much like that.
Also, like, to be a guy that's like, I'm an alpha male. I'm like the most heterosexual male ever. My book is called A Guy's Guide to Being a Male's Male. Like, a man's man. What?
So if you're a man's man, that means
if you're a man that
wants men to be attracted to you?
If you're a guy's guy trying to be a man's man, what? My shit's only about being heterosexual, but my title is Men, Loving Men, Being Boys, Being Men, Being Men.
I mean, hey.
Come on now.
It tells me you
which is cool,
mind.
But
I'm not mad about it, but hey.
But don't be...
Sounds like these folks have spent a few 2 weekends in Atlantic City.
Sounds like these alpha males are just a little sensitive in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just going to about do it for us here tonight, everybody.
Hold up, I got to shout out the horse.
Oh, shit, I forgot. Yeah, the horse, the 95 horse.
The horse running down 95. Smarty Jones is back, baby.
Yeah. Dude.
Smarty Jones didn't get turned into glue.
For the Triple Crown.
Some say that a horse hit 95.
But, you know what?
Miles an hour.
Oh, that horse was booking.
The car was like trying to keep up.
That horse was booking. But
scared as a fucking... He was scared.
You know that horse was from Fletcher Street?
No.
Yeah, that horse was from Fletcher Street Urban Riding Club. So...
They just put that shit up on Fairmount.
Yeah. Yeah, that horse ran a long distance to get from Fairmount to 95. It's like, damn.
He probably heard that. He was like, damn, Dave Matthews is coming back here again. I'm out. This shit booked it.
But nah, shout out to the horse. The horse did make it back to Fletcher Street. They've gotten a lot of attention from that. Glad the horse made it back. Shout out Fletcher Street. Shout out L-Dog. Glad the horse is okay.
Shout out Hannah Galdi.
Yeah, shout out Hannah Galdi. In addition to being on this podcast with us degenerates, running or starting to run Mug Coffee Clay, volunteered at Fletcher Street Urban Riding Club, where the horse was from for many years. So
that horse probably came back and said, "You're never gonna believe this shit."
that
road
horse
was
famous,
wild.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time we were driving back from work and there was a dog running
Yeah,
down 95.
right around where the horse was.
Yeah. It's a popular spot. It's where the animals go.
95 is a crazy.
That's why they're building a park up there, yo.
Yeah. 95 is a wild thing. You might see Elmo up there when the city's burning down. You might see a horse. You might see a dog. You might see some cattle. Who knows? It's like a time lapse, like a time warp.
You might see the mascots. Remember
Yeah,
when they rebuilt
They were the first ones to go over the fucking road. Yeah.
Only in Philadelphia, man. I love this city.
Makes no sense. Where everybody knows your name. 95.
There we go.
Yeah.
But I had to shout out the horse. I
forgot about the horse.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Giddy up, baby.
So please give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Leave us give us a follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube.
Now, yeah.
We do have a Facebook page now for any of our over 60 listeners who give us some.
Hey, we be having parents listen to this, so
That's true.
They might follow us
Shout
on
out
Facebook.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Get on there. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
Giddy up.